Yeah, good morning all of you. So today our topic is about use cases. Okay, and this is 16th chapter in our textbook about use cases. So if you remember, we were studying each of these words, each chapter heading in our basic building blocks. So use case is nothing but sequence of actions. So in a particular order, if you follow, then only you will end up with some task. If you are not following that sequence, then you won't end up. So examples I was telling you about processing a loan. Okay. Manual examples, say some preparing some recipe. So steps are there in a sequence order. So in that sequence, particular sequence, and based on the things given, so if you follow, then you will achieve some task. So in order to represent such things, the flow of some action, then we call it as use case. So in this chapter, we will be studying about use cases, actors. So what do you mean by an actor? Some person, external person who is using the system. Say suppose ATM is having use cases. So use case of validating the customer, or withdrawing, or deposit, or so there are many kinds of different flows. Okay, so each one can be use case. So that will be existing there. Okay, but somebody has to use it. So some external user who is using the system is called as an actor. Okay, so we'll study in detail about these terms. And not only that, include and extends. If you remember in advanced relationships, if at all we are giving dependency among use cases, so you can give the flavors or the properties as include and extend also. Okay, even these things we'll be studying in detail in this chapter. And in common modeling techniques, we are going to study the behavior of an element and realizing use cases with collaborations. Okay, so these are the different topics for us today to discuss. So let's see some introduction of use cases before we get into the details of it. So let's see what exactly the things are here. So as we know, no system will exist in isolation. So only one will not be enough. Only one, it will not be enough. It has to be interacted, communicated with human or automate actors to achieve some purpose. Say suppose if only ATM is existing, if no user is using, then just only in isolation, independent, that ATM will work? No. So somebody has to use it. So that is what we call it as interaction. No system will exist on its own. It have to be communicated, interacted in order to achieve some task, some behavior. Okay, or what exactly that system purpose have to be achieved, that can be achieved through the interaction. Okay, so that is our first one. So then moving on to the next one, it specifies behavior of a system or part of a system. Okay, it may not be the entire behavior of ATM machine we are talking about. It can be part, as I told you, validating a user. Validating a user means when he keeps the card, so when you enter the pin, he will validate whether it is a validate user or not. Okay, so and then description of set of sequence of actions. So that is what I told you, step by step actions, what exactly it has to do, and it will say what the system will do, what the system does. System performs to yield an observable result of value to the actor. Okay, so as an external user, when I go to a machine, I use the machine, what exactly the things are there with that. Yes or no? So that is what here we are trying to say. Description of set of sequence of actions including variance that system performs to yield an observable result of value to an actor. Okay, and moving on to the next point. So apply to use cases, capture the intended behavior of the system. So what exactly that system behavior? So those things will be performed without having to specify how that behavior is implemented. See, when we are seeing as a user, when I am inserting my card and entering my PIN, so there is a use case written coding for that. Okay, so how to validate a user? So that means it is going to check what the previous value is stored in the database and what now he is entering. If they match, then it's a validate user and it will take to the next screen of the page to continue. Or else what it will do, your PIN is wrong, please re-enter. So that is what it's going to say. So that is what exactly we are saying about the intended behavior without having to specify how the behavior is implemented. See here, use case won't talk about how the coding, how the coding part is done for validating a user, or all those details it won't give, but it's only saying what exactly it does. Okay, so please remember this point. It specifies only the behavior of the system, but it won't specify how that behavior is implemented. That is coder's part. Maybe UML models, it's for analysis only. So in analysis, what it does and all, if you say, those things have to be implemented by the coding team. Okay, so like that you remember at least. And then, and these use cases will provide the developers to come to a common understanding. What common understanding? Who will be the end users? Who will be the domain experts? Who will be using this use case? So all such things can be traced out. And not only just tracing, they can also validate. They can also validate how the architecture and the system is involved in during the SDLC of that project. Okay, and when we implement, the use cases are realized by collaborations whose work need to be carried out each use case. Okay, so how exactly each use case is implemented can be told, the behavior of the system. Okay, when I say system, so a system can have many use cases. ATM is a system. Okay, so validating a user is a use case. Processing transaction is a use case. So likewise, you may have many use cases within a system. And well-structured use case denote essential system or subsystem behaviors are neither overly generated nor too specific. So it can say about the entire behavior of the system or subpart of it, maybe sometimes the overlapping, or maybe it can be too specific to one only in detail, to the minute details of it. Okay, so based on the scenario for what we are working, so we can give the use cases and their descriptions in detail. Okay, so here one key factor in creating use case is that we can specify how a ATM should behave by stating in use case how users interact with the system. So how the user will interact with the system through ATM card. Okay, so that can be more specifically given. And use cases specify desired behavior. They do not dictate how that behavior will be carried out. So when ATM is inserted, whatever may be the process, so different ATMs The processing of the card may be different, but overall the task is to do some transaction over there. Okay, so that is based on the desired behavior of that use case, how it is designed. Okay, and then we are talking about use cases description of set of sequence of actions. So this is what I am telling you from the beginning of this chapter, including various the system performs to yield an observable result of value to an actor. So this is a complete definition of an use case. So sequence of actions it will do by including all the variants. Variants means users, how to communicate, what is the purpose. So all together, puts together, and then that's the definition of an use case we can say. And here also again the same details are given. And not only just sequence of actions, but also it represents the interaction of the things outside the system. Outside the system means outside person who is using ATM, a user. So that's why outside the system means we call them as actors. But within the system itself means the key abstractions, however the behavior was designed. So those are the key abstractions or the different use cases. And then a use case involves interaction of actors and the system, ATM and the user. Through card they are going to communicate. So that is, we can say, interaction of the actor and the system. A use case may have many variants. So these things we were talking about. It can use parts of the use cases, or the complete behavior of the system, or part of the behavior of the system, okay, or sub part of it, or it can be into more details of it also. And we can also apply use cases for the entire system. Apply use cases to part of your system, including subsystems, even individual classes and interfaces. Okay, and then use cases applied for subsystems are excellent source of regression tests. So please remember this point. So which are applied to subsystem, some part of the system. Independent subsystem means independent parts of the system. So they are the sources where we can do regression tests. So I'm not going to do into the details of this tests and all, because you have studied in probability. Okay, if at all you want the details of this, you can browse later. So let's concentrate on our subject, that use cases applied to subsystems are the excellent sources of regression test, whereas use cases applied for the entire system are the excellent sources of integration and system tests. Okay, so these are the validations we can see. Testing is nothing but you are validating, checking whether it's working properly or not. So that is what we are doing for subsystem regression test, whereas whole system we are checking for integration and system test. Okay, so let's see some example given here. So we were talking about a use case. So how a use case is given in UML? It's a solid ellipse, and mostly it's given by some name. Okay, so that's why we call it as use case. And actor. Actor is a human here, because loan officer we are talking now. So this is a symbol, the same symbol you have to use wherever you are going to show the actor. Okay, so these are the introduction to our today's chapter. So the first part of this chapter is about terms and concepts. Terms and concepts, the terminology about all this. So I was talking you about these details already. So quickly revise them. A use case is description of set of sequence of actions. Sequence of actions, please remember that. In the order, those actions have to be performed. Okay, including various that system performs to yield an observable result of value to an actor, and graphically it is rendered as an ellipse. Okay, so in textual form represented as an ellipse, and when you are drawing graphically you have to show the ellipse representation. Okay, so and then under terminology, the first one will be talking about names. So as we had names for other things of the basic building blocks, so similarly for use cases also we need to give name. So why we need to give name? In order to distinguish from the other use cases, in order to uniquely identify that. And a name can be a textual string, and names can be given in two forms if you remember. What is that? Simple name and path name. A simple name is just a string, whereas path name is preceded by its package where exactly it is present or live on. Okay, so here place order, validate user. So they are only just the textual strings, two worded strings. So here such ones we call it as simple name. Usually a use case we just mention with its value. Okay, name, and whereas path name we give its package. So how we have given the path name, where exactly that thing is present in which package. So similarly with the use cases too, we can give path names. Okay, these details whatever we follow in programming languages just for giving a name. So it can be a number of letters, numbers, and most punctuations except colon and all, as we use for scope resolution and things. Okay, so then moving on to the next one. So that is about second terminology.
Ma'am, what is place order there?
Yes, ma'am.
Once again, tell me about place order, ma'am.
Place order is a use case. Validate user is a use case. See, that's what I was telling you till now. So here when I say use case means what? When you will say it as a use case, when you have sequence of steps to perform that action. So when I want to place an order, say you are using some online shopping. In order to place an order, you have to follow some sequence of steps. What you have to do? First open the site. Okay, so then you will be checking the items. Then you have to select the item. Then you have to take it into the cart. So like you have some sequence of procedures, or some things they may initially only they will ask your card number to give, and they'll check whether you are validated user or not, maybe because of your history and all. Okay, or some few initially they ask you to browse, and then so while paying they may validate. Okay, so based on the system, how that use case is implemented, that's not our interest here. Use case is something where it just tells you about the behavior of it. But how it is implemented, how it is coded, it's not given. But only the behavior of it is given, and that behavior, some small task, so that small task, how it is achieved, step by step, in sequence, not randomly. See, if you without inserting a card into an ATM, and if you ask the cash to be withdrawn, will the ATM will interact with the user? No. So it has to perform one step by step. First you insert the card. Later on, how that machine was developed to process things, then it will do. Okay, so that is what we say it as sequence of steps in order, one after the other. It has to be followed. Or same thing if you take the example of preparing some recipe. Okay, so that recipe accordingly step by step, if we do, the end product what we are expecting, you may get the same the flavor or text or whatever. If you randomly do, then it may not come. So similarly with our use cases too here. Is that clear, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, some small task which can be done in step-by-step process. So here if you see validate user, in order to validate user, what will it will ask? As you enter your card, it will ask for PIN. Okay, so those details we'll be studying again. So almost this chapter is about ATM machine and that system things only. So we'll see in detail now. And then the next terminology is about use cases and actors. Use cases and actors. So use case is nothing but some part or behavior or entire behavior of the system. But who is an actor? Actor is some external person who is interacting with the system. So you just imagine yourself as a user to an ATM machine. Then you become as an actor. Okay. So, and this actor may not be a human being. He can be a hardware device also. Or sometimes even the other system. Sometimes the other system also can be an actor. When two systems are interacting, so the external system who is interacting with the system which we call it as internal one, so that system also is called as actor. Okay, so did you get the actor one? The one who is using the system is called an actor, or the one who is interacting with the system to perform or achieve some task to be fulfilled of his. So such one is called as an actor. But actor, exactly, he may not be the human being or a person only. It can be a hardware device also. It can be some other system also. Okay, so make a note of this about actors. So here if you see, even between two actors, when types are there, when types are I was telling many times about the other basic building blocks. If under one thing, if any types are there, then we use generalization. So similarly here also among actors we can say. See, customer is there. Customer is a general term of an actor. But what type of customer? Commercial customer or retail customer? Okay, so such things when we want to show the relation, types means generalization. So this works like the parent and this will work like a child. Okay, so that is about the actors. And you have to remember that actor and use case are connected by association. So this point you have to make a note of it. Okay, so mostly actors and use cases are connected by association. Why? If it is association, it is bidirectional communicated, right? Actor will be communicating with that use case and use case will be communicating with the actor. So that is two-way communication, two-way interaction. So that's why mostly it will be association only. Okay, so then moving on to the next terminology, that is third one, about use cases and flow of events. Use cases and flow of events. So a use case describes what a system does. I was telling you, so it just gives you what the behavior of it. Okay, but it does not specify how it does, coding and all, how to validate. So all that it doesn't matter. Okay, usually these models, UML diagrams, whatever we are drawing, what we call it as diagrams or a model. So these are the things which are done at the analysis phase only. Okay, implementation later it will be carried out, but this analysis, in the analysis we just say about what is the system, how it has to behave and all. Okay, so then later when the project is carried into the next cycle of coding, so the coding people will see what it is analyzed and what behavior they want, and in the coding they should see that that behavior is implemented exactly. That is what the purpose. So I was emphasizing on this point. So please make a note of this again. Okay. So it describes about a system or behavior of a system, but it won't implement that. Okay. So here when we are using the context of an ATM system or ATM machine, we say, so in order to validate user, so it may have many things here. So we can talk about main flow of events or exceptional flow of events. So let's see each one in detail. So what is the main flow? The usual flow when any user, many users may be using ATM system daily. Okay, so main flow, usually many of them what they do, that is what we call it as main flow. So here the use case starts when the system prompts the customer for a PIN number as he enters the card, inserts the card to the machine. So it will be asking for the customer to enter the PIN number, and once he entered through the keyboard, and customer will press the button, and then the system checks this PIN and checks whether it is validated or not. So that ends checking the PIN. Okay, so it will acknowledge. So if the PIN is valid, it will give the next screen saying that the transactions what he has to perform. If it is not valid, so it will ask to re-enter. Maybe based on the system how it has been developed, maybe three times it will give chance, later it will be blocked, or maybe based on number of seconds, so it will give. So it's based on how that is implemented. Okay, so this is the main flow. Usually every person has to do. Okay, that is the main flow. And then when we say exceptional flow, when I say exceptional means it's different. Rarely it will happen. Okay, that is what exceptional flow. So exceptional flow here is nothing but you may cancel the things when the system is asking you to enter the PIN. You won't enter. Maybe you may say cancel. Okay, at that time what will happen? That validating customer use case will again restart from the beginning. Okay, so that is what the exceptional case. Mostly users they won't do this. No, when you go to the system ATM, what is your task? You maximum see to that is fulfilled, but you won't cancel it or do the other things, right? Sometimes if at all you may enter the PIN wrong, you may say re-enter and then you will do. Okay, so this is one exceptional case. The other exceptional case is the customer can clear a PIN at any time. Okay, so before saying enter, after entering the PIN, so he may clear the PIN and he may re-enter. So this is also the exceptional case. Most of the users don't do this. Very rarely these exceptional things will happen. And exceptional flow of event is invalid PIN number. Invalid PIN number. So that is what I was talking about. So again, when it is invalid, so again it will ask you to re-enter the PIN, and again that use case. What is that use case? Just validating the customer, so that will again restart. So these things I was talking to you about already. If it happens 3 times, then the system may cancel the entire transaction, preventing the customer from interacting with the ATM for 60 seconds. So based on how it is developed. Okay, so that these are the different scenarios for a particular use case we can talk about. Okay, and we can also specify use case flow of events in number of ways. So that's what I was showing you here, the main flow, what can be the exceptional flows, and all the other details also we can talk. So based on for what system we are developing, so based on that either it should be only the basic things, the basic behavior of the system we are concentrating, or the details of that we are concentrating, or a part of it. So that depends on the scenario what we are working on. And then the next case terminology is about use cases and scenarios. So I was telling you about a system may have many use cases. So say suppose if you have ATM system only, ATM system just validating user, if that is only use case, will it work? It has to be having many other use cases also. No, all subtasks are given. all sequences are given as use cases. So after validating, then it has to give the transaction, and after transaction, withdrawing cash. Okay, so there likewise there you have many kinds of use cases within an ATM system. Okay, so here when I say about many possible flows are there in a system, then each flow or each sequence we call it as a scenario. Again I repeat, in a system you will have number of use cases, and each use case you have a sequence. Okay, so such each sequence means each flow what you are taking, which track you are taking. So that is called as a scenario. So now in other terms we can say as scenario as the instance of use case. Okay, so we can say scenario is instance of use case. So that is what we have to emphasize. When we say instance means it's one part of it, one instance. So like that you may have many instances. When I say particular class as fruit class, I say. So what are all instances? Many fruits names you can give. All those will be the instances of that particular class. So see, similarly here, when I say use case, and that use case may have many flows. So just now we were talking about validating a user, okay, when he enters the PIN. So main flow it can take, any of the exceptional flows he can take. So each one is a flow, and that each flow is called a scenario. Okay, so likewise, and each scenario is called instance of a use case. That means in a use case you will have many scenarios, many flow controls. Okay, so is this clear or any clarification you need? Yes ma'am, please confirm. Because when you are doing practical sessions, so these things you need to understand clearly, then only you can draw the diagrams. If anything is there now itself, you please ask. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Next terminology, that is about use cases and collaborations. So as we were talking about at the beginning of this topic for today, any system will not exist isolated. It cannot be independently work. It has to be collaborated. So in an ATM machine, I have different use cases. But validating a user is one use case. And that use case have to be linked to transaction use case. Then only after once the user is validated, then the next screen will pop up for him that the display, which transaction he want to do. Yes or no? So for which what if we are doing? The different use cases have to be collaborated, linked, communicated between one another. Then only the task will be fulfilled. Okay, or in your terminology you can just take like this. A system work is subdivided into subworks as a use case. Okay, all subworks or small tasks which have to be done in sequence of actions is called a use case. So in a system you will have many use cases, and each use case will not work independently. All those have to be collaborated, and they also may work in sequence. Okay, so here let's see the use cases and collaborations. So use cases will capture the intended behavior of the system. So what exactly the ATM system has to do, and without specifying how that behavior is implemented. See, throughout this chapter, this point is going on emphasized. So please make a note of it. And then here I was telling you about the use cases and collaborations. See, collaboration here is nothing but it's a teamwork. See, order management. Order management is a system. Order management is a system where it may have n number of use cases within that. Okay. So, but when this order management will be realized? See, I'll tell you the example before I explain you this diagram. See, you have an online shopping system, say. Okay. So that system will be existing with all kinds of use cases. Okay. So if that system is existing and if no one is using that, no one is placing an order using that system, then there is no use of existing that order management over there. So very soon it will be collapsed. So when somebody is placing an order means through that system means, so somebody is using it. So it is realized. It is realized. Okay, so that's what we can say. An order management can be realized by using placing order. If no order comes for this order management, then this system, it's not under usage. Nobody is using that. Okay, that is what we can say. Okay, so this order management may have internally many use cases, but the main use case, what we call it as place order. If no order is coming for this order management to use, then it won't exist. Such things we call it as realized. Order management is realized through placing an order, or a college is realized through students admissions. Okay, so that's how we can say system will exist only with this, the primary thing. Later what all the other things will go on, that can be talked in detail, or sometimes you can say the same example I'll tell you. Order management, it's something like ATM system. How a ATM system is realized? It's through by inserting a card. That is the primary thing. Without that, it won't work. So similarly here, order management by getting a place order, college is realized through student admissions, or an ATM system is realized through a card insertion. Okay, so likewise we can talk about the relation between use cases and collaborations. And the next one, moving on to the next one, organizing use cases. So just now I was talking to you about not only the system having n number of use cases within that, but even those use cases have to be organized, interacted among themselves in order to achieve some purpose. Okay, so here let's see the example of this. So this example is for banking system and validating user. So this is the example given, and validating a user. Validating a user can be done by using password and retinal scan. So these things they have clearly specified here. Okay, so for that scenario, when you want to draw a diagram, so first see here for what scenario we are drawing. So this is about banking system, and it is clearly given for validate user. Okay, so here first we are talking about the user. The main use case is about validate user. That is what we are concentrating here. Use case validate user. And this validating user, how many types are there? can validate a user by using retinal scan. You can validate a user by checking his password. So that means these two use cases are types of validate users. Okay, so that's why we are giving generalization. I hope this is clear. Okay, this part. So let's move on to the next one. So how the validate user can be worked, or what are the other use cases which are depending on validate user. Say suppose when you are placing an order for some product online. Okay, so is the placing an order is depending on validate user? It's already included in that. See, when you are placing an order means when you have logged into that site itself, it took all your details. It checked whether you are a valid user or not. Okay, or if at all you are doing for the first time, it will check your history and then confirms itself that you are a validate user. So place order means it's mandatory that doing validating user only, then only once you are validated as a user, then only you can place the order. Okay, so that's why we are saying include stereotype. Placing an order means, so validating a user is already included within a place order. After doing that only we can do this. Okay, is that clear? So that is what we can say it as include. Validating user is already included for place order. So that's why we say include stereotype of the dependency here. And then this place order can be given some extended properties of it. So we can give some extended points like this, extension points at priority. So what priority we can say? I want the product to be delivered. They said usually it will be delivered within a week. I want it to be given within 2 days or 3 days. So you can set the priority that I want the product to be delivered at the earliest. See, charges I don't mind, but I want the product to be delivered at the earliest. So that is the priority you can set. This is the existing one, but based on the existing one, so some properties can be extended. Some properties can be extended. What properties? Not just placing an order, but also I want that order to be a rush order by setting some priorities. So that we call it as extended property of this. Placing an order is one property, but that can be extended to I want it at the earliest. So that priority you can give. So in such case we can give the extended stereotype. Okay, so these two are very important. Please focus here. Based on the use case, if that use case on which it is depending, so if that is prior to this use case execution, so this cannot be done without validating a user. So that scenario is called as include stereotype. Okay, when you are going to library and issuing a book, that means issuing a book means already it is included that they checked already that you are a validate user. If you are not a student of Lila College, you won't get a book from there. But validating that student is already inclusive of issuing that book. Okay, so and extended property means, extended property of issuing a book means, see, they say while issuing only you have to return it within 10 days. If not, you will have to pay the fine. So maybe you may inform them, or you may think that I'll keep it for a few more days extra and then I'll pay fine. It's okay, it's my semester and exams. So that could be the extended property of the book issue. Okay, so that's how we can talk about include and extended properties of different dependency flavor among use cases. And the other use case here we have track order. So how you can track the order? You might have placed some online order for some product and you want to track it, where exactly it is. Okay, at what time it is going to be delivered at your door. Okay, so that you can track it, but that can be based on the validate user only. Okay, so this is one scenario where we are talking about one validate user use case. So about one, so these many details we can talk about on that particular thing, how many are depending on. And one more thing I want to make it clear, if you see each use case here, validating user sequence of steps, retinal scan, so there are some steps to validate, check password, there are some steps to validate, track order, so sequence of steps, placing an order, sequence of steps, placing rush order, sequence of steps. So you have to remember that some action which will be performed on some sequence of steps, then that can be said as an use case. And no use case will be independent, as no system exists independently. So here the use cases, no use case will be independent. It will be collaborated. It will be interacted, connected with all the other use cases. Then only it will work. Okay. So this is about organizing use cases within a system. Okay. So these are the things we were talking about now. So obtaining, verify the order, so including validate user. So the main flow and exceptional flow already we have done. And then moving on to the other features. So the last terminology under this chapter is about other features. So we can talk about a use case is a classifier, and also we may have attributes and operations, no, for a class. Just like that, we can imagine attributes as objects inside the use cases, need to describe its outside behavior. But whereas operations, inside behavior of the use case we can think of. Okay, and then the second part of this chapter is about common modeling techniques. So this is the one where all the terminology what we have studied in the first part have to be applied to some example. That is what we are going to study under the second part as common modeling techniques. So we have only one common modeling technique under this topic of use cases. So that is modeling the behavior of an element. So let's take some example and then see. So in order to model the behavior of an element, first we need to identify the actors. So who are the users? Actor means user who is going to use that system. Okay, or the different groups. Why groups? So actor means not only a human being, but it can be a hardware device or it can be a system also. Okay, and you have to organize that actors. So based on their special roles, if there are types, we can give generalization. So likewise, we can organize those actors. And then after that, the primary ways in which the actor interacts with the element. Okay, so primary ways means main flow of control. And the second one we can talk about the exceptional flows. So what are the other details? And after we give all the actors and use cases within a system, and those use cases have to be communicated, collaborated with the other use cases based on the relationships. So mostly between actor and use case it will be association only, since it is bidirectional. And among the use cases we can give dependency, we can give generalization, we can give association. If it is dependency, we can give two kinds of flavors, that is include and extends relationship. And when there are types, we can give generalization. Okay. And then here the example of behavior of the system by declaring these behaviors. Interact with the customer who placed the orders and track. So this is the example given here. The retail system which will. So the example here is the retail system will interact with customer who places the order and track the orders. So that is the example we are going to look at now. So if you see here, first we have validating a customer. Yes or no? For any system, first since it is online systems, we are talking about validate a customer. So validating a customer. So on this, place order is depending. So before going to place order, so this is already, it has to be done. So that's why place order is depending on validate customer. So that means validate customer is already inclusive of place order, which have to be done before this. So that such things we say it as include. And track order, so that also it is dependent on the validate customer. And ship order, the same thing. And partial order, see the other example we have seen it as rush order, but here they are saying partial order. Maybe you might have booked for the number of quantity as say some 100. At that point of time they have only stock for 50. So initially you say whatever you have first deliver and later the remaining you deliver. So then it can be said as the partial order. And finally the billing the customer. So this also will be connected, but there are other use cases which also have to come into the system as a whole. But since here we are talking only about the details of system interacting with customer and who places that and track the orders. So we are just emphasizing only on customer placing an order and tracking that order. Okay. So this is the example for that. And whenever we are drawing the use case diagram, so first you need to remember these tips, or when you are going to do these diagrams practically, so make a note of these things. So a well structured use case, so names a single identifiable and atomic behavior of the system are part of the system. So it should be specific with the meaning. Okay, and what exactly it is saying, and you have to talk about the flow of events, and the minimal scenario. Minimal scenarios means the different flows within a use case you have to give. You should not make it more complicated. And then when we draw the use case diagram in UML, we have to show only those use cases that are important to understand behavior of the scenario given, system given, or part of it, whatever is asked for, not making it too complicated. Okay, and show only those actors that relate to that use cases what you have specified. So other than that, we should not make the diagram complex or model very complex. Okay, so these are the topics I wanted to cover today. So these are the things about use cases.